So with this episode of My Hero, the Forest Arc, the Forest Battle Zone, the hero students fight against the League of Villains Vanguard Action Squad is at its conclusion. Now the episode opens up, My Hero does this a lot, and it will continue to do this, we're in Season 3. During Season 4, like in the big moments that everyone's going to be excited for, My Hero does do this again, where like, we'll kind of, be watching, a bunch of events will unfold, and then we'll get Deku or a narrator kind of come in and say, all right, now we're going to go, rewind back in time a little bit. I guess that's a good way to kind of, like, keep the focus on something, right? Like, I remember a good example of this is that in Naruto, during Naruto's battle with Gaara in the forest, I remember just constant, like, cuts between Orochimaru and the third Hokage, and, like, Gaara and Naruto, and I do feel as though maybe, those would have been better, like, if one finished and then it was like, all right, now we're just gonna see what happened over here. Like, that's kind of what My Hero does. We're like, we see the entire Deku versus Muscular fight, and then next episode it's like, all right, we're gonna go back a little bit and see what was going on while Deku was fighting Muscular. That way they're not actually, like, interrupting the tension as it's being built up, right? So I do like that. Now we go back to Vlad King and the other students in, like, the main kind of compound cabin, and, like, they're kind of assessing the situation when Dabi shows up and gets to jump on him with his blue fire. I mean, you can't tell me that they don't make that shit look so cool, and Dabi is he's just such a slick motherfucker, man, because he's got, like, that long, like, almost like, the fourth Hokage jacket, like, he has that shit, like, I love Dabi. I think Dabi's a very popular character for a reason. But, like, Dabi kind of blows up the door, walks in, and then he's just, like, really casual and nonchalant, and my boy Vlad just comes flying in and mushes Dabi into the wall. I love that. And then he uses his quirk, which, he's able to harden his blood. So I've seen a lot of people kind of think it's like ice or something, or crystals, but it's actually his blood that he's able to shoot out, and it hardens, kind of pinning Dabi to the wall. Now, Dabi then proceeds to kind of talk a whole bunch of shit and kind of, elaborate on why the villains are there, that they're trying to kind of, sever the trust that the public has in, like, the Hero Society, UA, as well as the symbol of peace, All Might. But Aizawa Sensei comes running in, drop kicks the motherfucker, and stomps him out, and it's revealed that it is another clone, of Dabi. And he kind of reveals that, like, based upon the villains sending, like, just the Dabi clone to go, like, fight them and fuck with them, he's led to believe that the villains don't actually have a large number of, like, fighters there. So they're just trying to distract the pro heroes since their actual target is the students. So Aizawa heads out to go, get more students, and then it cuts back over to the end of the last episode where Deku, Shoji, and Todoroki were kind of pinning Compress to the ground in front of Toga, Twice, and Dabi. Now, we get a nice little fight here. We see a lot. So here's one thing I do like about My Hero is some of these villains, like Compress and Twice, like, they have a quirk, an ability, but, like, they're also shown to be very experienced and, like, agile in fighting, because, like, we see Todoroki shooting his ice at Twice, and, like, he is, like, really, like, dancing around very casually, avoiding the ice, and, like, it's Horikoshi, the creator of My Hero, he's I like making Deadpool basically a fucking villain here, because that's what Twice is. Twice is fucking Deadpool, and he's, like, doing all those weird, like, mannerisms and ridiculous bullshits of Deadpool, and I love how Todoroki's like, what the fuck is up with this dude? Now, Toga, kind of runs up to Deku and is trying to, like, stab him. Shoji comes in and basically just says, "Thought be gone," with a backhand to her. Now, at this point, Compress, like, when they all crashed down and landed, Dabi kind of got the jump on him and shot some of his blue flame at them. Compress was able to hide himself in his own quirk, the little, like, crystal type thing, the marble he creates. Now, he gets up, walks over to Dabi, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, we good, by the way. I got him right here." And he goes to reach in his pocket, and Shoji reveals that, like, Compress was, like, flying around taunting him, like, you cocksuckers aren't going to get these. And, like, he puts them in his pocket very, like, visibly, and is, like, showing out by doing it, right? So Shoji, when they, like, pummeled this dude into the ground, he used one of his arms to go ahead and grab the marbles. So they were able to successfully rescue Tokiyami and Bakugo. So they immediately, like, Deku, Todoroki, and Shoji, they start to run in the opposite direction when Warp Gate shows up, the warp fucker that we've seen before. So he creates a whole bunch of warps, a bunch of the League of Villains jump through, and then at this point, Compress starts to get in, and Dabi is like, whoa, dog, like, we kind of need to get Bakugo first. And he's like, oh yeah, by the way, and he takes his mask off and kind of reveals that he actually had two of the marbles in his mouth. That's the real Tokiyami and Bakugo. And, like, when Todoroki was shooting ice at Compress in the last episode, there's, like, a part where he kind of goes behind some of the ice, and then, like, there's ice obstructing the camera, and he kind of just, like, goes, like, past it for a second. In that time, he took two chunks of the ice, created marbles, and then kind of swapped the marbles. And then he kind of gives, like, a little thing of, like, as an entertainer, a magician, if I'm flaunting something, it's because I'm hiding something. So I really, this scene, like, when I was reading the manga, I was like, oh, that was so sick. Like, I did really like that. Now, right as him and Dabi are about to be like, well, cocksuckers, we won, later. Iwumi, you guys know who I'm talking about, the belly button laser guy. He actually shoots a laser and tags Compress in the face with his belly button laser, knocking both of the marbles out. Now, what's really interesting about this is it looks as though in the last episode, again, that Dabi, like, he walks over and he looks that motherfucker dead in the eye, and he's just like, whatever. Like, it is, I don't know, like, that's kind of, Dabi's very nonchalant, right? So this could have cost the League of Villains here, but I'm not really, it's still, like, I was talking about some of the homies with this, like, I still, like, it's not completely clear that Dabi saw him. Like, the way they make it look like he did, but I still feel as though Dabi probably would have sizzled the motherfucker if he knew he was there. Now, this causes one of the marbles to go shooting out, and Shoji's able to catch it. That's the one that has Tokiyami. The other one, Todoroki and Deku go to jump towards. Deku, however, his injuries start catching up with him from his fight with Muscular. He's not able to get there all the way, and Dabi actually grabs the other marble. Now, what's interesting is he's like, oh, sucks to be you, Shoto Todoroki. So he knows Todoroki's full name. Now, that's not completely crazy, right? Because they have full intel on all the students, but I don't know. It does feel to me as though Dabi is kind of like he's implying there's more than just like, oh yeah, here, Todoroki. I'm seeing there's a popular theory that Dabi is actually Todoroki's brother. Now, that's not like manga spoilers or anything. There's nothing like more to this than like everything we've seen in the anime so far, really. But you could see, like, they have similar quirks. Like, we've seen Endeavor use blue fire before too. So it's not a stretch to think that, like, his son, who would turn out to be Dabi, could be using that blue fire as well. Now, my boy Vocal Pineapple, he did do a good video. I'll probably try and link that in the comments below, kind of going over that theory of Dabi being Todoroki's brother. Now, with this, Compress releases the other marble, which does have Bakugo in it. Dabi has him, he has control of him, and they kind of slip into the warp. Deku makes a last gasp effort to kind of jump in and save Bakugo, but he's not really able to. And, like, you see, like, Bakugo kind of is like, don't come, Deku. Like, just kind of like, it seems more of like a place of worry. So the villains basically win. Their victory condition, I kind of touched on this before. Their victory condition was basically, get anyone out of there or kill one person, and they managed to kidnap Bakugo. So then we get kind of a wrap up. That's basically the completion of the forest. We get kind of a summary of events. 3 of the villains were captured. Moonfish, which was taken down by Tokiyami. You have Mustard, which was taken down by Kendo and the Steel Fucker. And then, of course, Muscular, who was KO'd by Deku. A bunch of the students are still injured. Momo has a bad injury from the Nomu. And a lot of the other students are still actually critically injured from Mustard's poison gas. Then, from the pro heroes, Pixie Bob is in serious condition. She got absolutely fucking blasted by Magne and Spinner. And then Ragdoll, they find a lot of her blood, but she is missing. So Ragdoll was also kidnapped by the League of Villains, which is obviously not a good thing. After this, the scene cuts to the teachers at UA kind of having a little conference discussing the turn of events. And it's revealed that now the public has like a strong distrust of UA. Like, they've really failed allowing a student to be kidnapped. And it's brought up for the first time here that there must be a traitor at UA, because only the teachers knew of where the training camp was going to be, and constantly, like, the villains know, like, All Might's schedule and the schedules of some of these teachers, where the students are going to be and stuff. So it's clear that there's a traitor, but it's decided that they're not really able to move on that right now, because there's no, like, they don't have any evidence of who it could be, and no one could 100% prove that they are innocent as well. Now, All Might gets a call, and I remember this stunned me in the manga. I didn't see this one coming. All Might gets a call, and it's from the detective, his detective buddy, the dude that wants to help him take down All for One. And he tells him that after interviewing Aizawa and Vlad, they were able to determine a possible location of the League of Villains base, because they got like a tip from an informant, or just doing gathering info, that a dude with patchwork face was spotted in like a vacant building, and it kind of unravels, and then like, wait, the patchwork guy, that was one of the villains that was attacking the forest. So they think they've located the location of the League of Villains headquarters. And the police detective, he says that they're going to get a lot of pro heroes, and they want All Might, and they want to take that shit down right away. All Might powers up into his muscular mode, and he's like, oh yeah, baby, time for counterattack. We get a quick glance at the League of Villains headquarters. We see they're all there with Shigaraki, and they have Bakugo kind of chained up in a chair, so he's there. Then we get the last scene is they're at the hospital with Deku, who's been kind of fading in and out of consciousness. Deku has severe injuries, of course, from his battle with Muscular. It's discussed here, too, that Momo was able to give a tracking device to All Might and the police detective in the last episode. When she welded that device, she had the other guy from Class B weld the device into the Nomu. It was a tracking device. So they have a location for where the League of Villains could possibly be as well. So they have 2 separate locations to go check. And then a bunch of the other students, Kirishima and Todoroki, they want to actually have Momo create another one of these tracking devices, and they want to go try and rescue Bakugo themselves. Now, Ida does contest this, and we see a flashback to when, after the Stain fight, where they were getting scolded for taking place in the battle with Stain, because obviously, students are not supposed to do that. And the episode kind of ends with Deku and the others having to make a decision, like, should they go try and rescue Bakugo, or should they leave it to All Might and the pro heroes? And again, that is how the episode ends. Very impressive. My Hero, they continue to adapt it from the manga so perfectly for the anime. At this point, we're getting really fucking close to big time events happening. This will do it for this video. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I will see you for the next one.